Good evening. Happy Easter, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter Sunday. My family and I celebrated Easter at home. We participated in online church services. Then we had an Easter egg hunt inside the house. And these are some of the leftover eggs. Eggs. We're all familiar with eggs. Many of us use eggs during our celebration of Easter. Easter is the celebration of the resurrection of Christ. Easter eggs are said to represent Jesus' emergence from the tomb and his resurrection. For us as believers, it means hope and new life. Today, I'm going to talk about our new life after we accept Jesus into our hearts. And I'm also going to talk about our new life after this pandemic. The moment we believe in Jesus, his death, and his resurrection, we begin a new life. We are renewed from within. And over time, our lifestyle, manners, and behavior changes. And we tend to draw closer and closer to Jesus, which allows us to have a personal relationship with him. And right now, we know that we are in a worldwide crisis. Most of us are on lockdown or we on some type of stay-at-home orders. We do know that life is not the same anymore. Do you think that life will go back to how it was 3 months ago? No, things are going to change. More than likely, we're going to pay more attention to our hygiene. We're going to do more washing our hands. We're going to do less hugging and less handshakes. More than likely, our doctor's appointment will be on FaceTime. Our job interviews may take place on Skype. We don't know how it's going to change, but we do know that things will change. It's not going to be the same anymore. Now, today is Easter, and we're winding down. And the question I have to ask you is, what do we do next? What do we do with these leftover eggs? Are we going to go on living our normal life that we lived 3 months ago? Are we going to live our life differently? I have 3 questions we can ask ourselves. Number 1, how are we going to go back to our workplaces? Number 2, how are we going back to our churches, our places of worship? Number 3, how are we going to deal with our relationships, with our families, our siblings, our marriages, our friends? How are we going to deal with this? So let's dive deep into these 3 questions. Number 1, we're going to go back to our workplaces, right? Now, how are we going to go back to these workplaces? Hopefully, we will go back in peace. Psalms 34, 13 and 14 says, "Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Turn away from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." While at work, we can go back with the right attitude. We can go back with peace. You know, we can be in the worst environment, the worst work environment, and we still can have peace. Number 2, how are we going to go back to our churches? Now, we know that we're busy in our churches and we're doing things. But now we need to focus more on Jesus. And our hearts need to turn back to the Lord. And not in the routine of just doing things. Now, don't get me wrong. We are going to continue to do good works. But we're going to make sure that we're focused on Jesus with the right mindset, the right spirit, the right soul, everything focused on Jesus while we're doing our good works at church. Number 3, now how are we going to deal with our relationship with our families? Now, Psalms 133:1 says, "How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity." So we're going to put aside our differences and we're going to love each other. We're going to love each other because Jesus told us we have to love each other. Now, to wrap this all up, we're not going to return to life as normal, but we're going to turn to Jesus. We're going to set aside those things that doesn't really matter anymore, but we're going to focus on most important things. But first of all, we're going to focus on Jesus. We're going to focus on Jesus. We don't need to worry about things that we cannot change. We're not going to do that. We're going to grow closer and closer to Jesus. So happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter. And remember, we cannot go back to life as normal. We're going to have to turn to Jesus. So remember, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Look me up. And always remember that God loves you, and so do I. Have a wonderful night.